What I see at the moment is a distinct lack of political leadership from the West and a doubling down on leadership from the East. And you've got these two opposing forces that, should they clash head to head, without that Ukraine buffer zone in the middle, could cause absolute mayhem for the rest of the world.
The final point then is what Zelenskyy said of Russia. The Russian actions are evil. Now, you mentioned the children being trafficked, and it seems to be under the Russian watch, with the accusation of mass torture. It's like everything. It could be misinformation, it could be based on truth, or it could be hyperbole. Who knows? I'm interested as to why Putin would deliberately harm his allies with the grain supply, if that is correct. If they really are bombing Odessa, and there's a place on a river which is very close to Romania, why would you do that? Why would you allow these things to happen and then try and maintain that you have credibility ethically and morally? Is Zelenskyy correct?
I would be sceptical, or I would be wanting to ask the questions before I sort of came to a very clear conclusion on what I'm being told. I don't believe what I'm being told on face value. I don't believe it. That doesn't mean to say it's not true. It means that I will need to corroborate it elsewhere before I do believe what they're telling me. They could be absolutely truthful, but I'm not going to take people at face value, particularly from the media, because, as you say, it's the agitation and fear creation engine. They've got an agenda there. Is Putin destroying those grain tankers and silos and all the rest of it? Is he? I don't know. We're told that he is and that he's blocking these things, but is he blocking them? Or is there some aspect of the agreement that the West won't agree with, and Putin said, well, that's my terms, and therefore you either agree to that or you don't? Or is it the other way around, that Putin's saying, well, these are my terms and the West won't agree to it, and so is it the West that are causing them to be held up? You just don't know. Do I think that Putin has distanced himself from all of his allies? I don't even think that's true, you know. He has got a very high popularity in Russia. As I understand it, he is very well thought of by the Russian people. That's one of your first litmus tests. When Prigozhin marched on Moscow with the Wagner group, did he? All the West was reporting about, this is the collapse of Putin, this is the demise of Putin, this is him coming undone. And I'm thinking, really? Was it? Or was that some sort of false flag operation? And was there something else going on in the background there? Because it certainly hasn't affected Putin's ratings. And I don't know that the grain and supplies and all the rest of it aren't getting out, but maybe out of a different way.
I was listening to, again, a British terrestrial news outlet, and they had a general on there, and just after an event a couple of weeks ago where a reporter seemed to have been targeted with other reporters in a cafe where they were meeting. Some of them were Russian dissidents, and one of their colleagues was killed. So there may have been a bit of a shock value. And this guy said, I've been reporting on Russia for some years, but I think we need to start calling these people out. Why are they so unwilling to go against what could be described as unethical conduct by their government? But what he didn't say was that if you did that, you're going to spend 10 years in prison, possibly more. And it's very difficult under the current system to speak out. And it's the argument about, if you're going to criticize the whole of the Russian people, then you're already going down the wrong route. Because did we blame Germany for the Nazi atrocities? Or did we blame the Nazis? I'd like to think we blame the Nazis. Because there was a common thing at the time, there's no good Germans. In fact, they made a film of it, didn't they? One good German. Well, there were many good Germans. They had no ability to protest or to stand out, because if they did, them and their family are going to end up in a concentration camp. So is there something similar with Russia? The problem here, and it's throughout history, why is it that so many people are always put in charge that you can't get rid of, where they go rogue? And some do. I'm not saying this is the case now, but when you have a system that nobody can stand up to the boss, then what kind of a system is that? Why do we permit this continually to happen? And it's like, well, this is 2023. Why are we still arguing all about this BS? But then again, the people who don't want things to change are the ones who are in power.